What is going on, YouTube? We finally have the M1 iPad Pro in studio. We're going to do an unboxing, first impressions. I'm going to maybe do some comparisons between the second generation iPad Pro because those are the most physically different versions. It hasn't changed too much since the 2018 iPad Pro. So I can't wait. It looks like you don't even need a knife to do this. You just got the pull tab. Let's break into this. But before we get started, you're going to want to stay tuned because I've got a plethora of iPad Pro content coming your way. I've teamed up with everybody from Hoverbar to Paperlike to Bridge. Like, we are doing accessories like you've never seen. We're going to be comparing cases, stands, stylus, you name it, to find out what's the best pro workflow for this new iPad Pro. We are going to put it through a battery of tests, comparisons in the speaker, the display. All of those videos are coming very soon. This is stuff you don't want to miss, guys, if you're considering the M1 iPad Pro. So hit the subscribe button, click the bell so you don't miss. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Grant Geek Show. Before we get started, quick thank you to Paperlike. They sent over their model for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I've been using it on my second gen. It's kind of tacky looking, but I've absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to use it on the new version. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's get into this box. Ooh, I've been waiting so long. And, you know, this has just been like the longest and probably worst rollout that I've ever seen. Wow. There it is. There she is. She blows. And I've seen this box. Obviously, my friends on Twitter, Will Sigmund, those guys, we've been talking. We've been taking a look at the box and stuff like that. So I know all this. And obviously, you guys have seen the unboxings because somebody didn't send me any review units. But you see, we have a new pull tab right here. Oh, look at that. Let's see if I can get this close to the mic. Oh, yeah. So here we have the box, and it's going to just glide open. Here's the iPad here, presented with a pull tab. Oh, we're going to put this to the side for a second. And we know they skimp you on the accessories a lot now with Apple, but looks like we have some... Do we get stickers here? We get a... Wow, it smells great. We get some instruction manuals. Don't tell me we don't get stickers, man. Oh, there we go. I'm like, you include this big old pamphlet box with no stickers. So here we have our charging brick, and we have a USB-C to USB-C power cable. This is going to be great. Guys, now I've got an incredible case that I've kind of modded myself. Also, shout out to the folks over at Bridge. They're going to be sending over their 12.9-inch 5th generation iPad Pro case for us to test out, as I'll be doing a series on the best accessories for the new M1 iPad Pro. Now, what I'm going to do right now before we have any dust is I've got Paperlike right here, and you got to get the Paperlike on your iPad. Once again, shout out to Paperlike for sending this over, and once I get this installed, we will actually do a quick look. So we're installing the Paperlike here, and again, what Paperlike does is it just creates this awesome grippy writing surface for your Apple Pencil. It also incredibly reduces glare on these screens. I can't wait to check out the Pro XDR display. We're just going to rub some bubbles out here. Pro. Now, you might be wondering why compare these two. Well, it's actually because this is the last physical form change that the iPad has had. It has been physically the same since the 3rd and 4th generation. So we're doing that, as well as the display on here from 120 Hertz to P3 to even the resolution is all the same on the 2nd gen as it is on the 3rd and 4th generation. They really had no need to change the display until now we have mini LEDs. All right, so on the back, these are both the space gray model, but as you can see, the 5th generation is a darker type of gray. On the back, we've got one camera here, and we've got our dual 12 megapixel cameras on the 5th generation. Both come with quad speakers. The iPad Pro, unfortunately, 5th generation has no headphone jack, as where the 2nd generation does. We also have our smart connector there on the bottom back and on the bottom for the 2nd generation iPad Pro. So let's go ahead and put this off to the side. Okay, let's boot this up and let's speed through all the setup, and through the power of editing magic, that will be right now. And here they are. I still got some bubbles working itself out on the Paperlike, but oh my goodness, just the first thing that I'm noticing, and I'm gonna grab the camera in a second, is the difference in blacks. But first, let's talk about some physical differences. I come from the 2nd generation iPad Pro, and I did have the 3rd generation iPad Pro 11-inch, so I've never actually dealt or owned a 12.9 inch with the new form factor. And I will say it's the weirdest feeling, but it feels small. And I know the borders are bigger. I had to double check and look at the screen size several times because I'm like, the screen just seems bigger than it is on the 12.9, but it's 12.9, and you'd be surprised what the borders actually do. Face ID is great. I'm used to that from the 3rd generation, but overall, they actually feel about the same weight. I would even say maybe the 5th generation is even a little heavier, despite not having the borders, and I think it's just because of the thickness there. It may be about the same, but you have some tapered edges here versus kind of a more boxy shape. Okay, so much easier to tell in the dark, but would you believe that this screen is on right now? The iPad Pro 5th generation is actually on this video, and the difference in blacks is the first thing that you notice. It's the most noticeable difference. Working with a lot of different companies right now to show you guys what is the best Pro experience for the iPad Pro. Now, hey, I know you've seen it a million times at this point, but yes, face tracking is available with Center Stage, and this allows your face to stay in the screen no matter where you go, where you move, and it seems to work really, really well. This uses the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera that has 120 degrees of view, so it can really follow you around. And I've just been surprised at the smoothness and the accuracy, even being able to move down like this. That is fantastic. So yeah, initial impressions, the thing is lightweight, it is fast, the display looks incredible. It's going to take me just a little getting used to not having the same amount of size, but I think once I put it in the case that you've got to see, you'll see that it's not going to be much of a difference. So yeah, guys, those are my initial reactions to this new M1 iPad Pro. It is light, it is fast, the display is beautiful. I can't wait to try out this Thunderbolt port. I will have to get used to the size difference. I'm used to just a little bit more width there, and also the borders being there for my thumbs to grip on, but it is the same size display, which is crazy, and it's got a good heft and a good weight to it as well. Plus, you gotta love that borderless design. So like I said, a ton of iPad Pro M1 content is coming your way. You don't want to miss. Get subscribed, click the bell, like the video if you like the video, and share it with your friends, as we'll be doing what is the best Pro workflow on the iPad Pro. Thanks guys so much for watching. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granite Geek Show.